I just had, oh, I'm sorry. I just had a little note pop up in the corner of my computer that says daylight savings times ends tomorrow.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I live in the future, so for me it was ending already yesterday.
Yeah.
This is the Saturday service with Rabbi Brian and friends. Today is the 1st of November 2025. This is service number 294. I am joined by a whole group of people from all over the internet who have. Here, I put them all on the screen. There they are. Hello, friends. There's still some more people joining in. We have taken it upon ourselves to try to live a best life as we can, and some of that involves retrospection, looking at ourselves and seeing that sometimes the problem that we think is out there, it's not, and it's in here. I want to start with telling you a story, and then we're going to do a little bit of a review. So the story goes like this. I'm walking 2 days ago, and my neighbors have a persimmon tree. And I'm walking past it, and I see at a low branch a beautiful ripe one. And I take it, and it's got some buggy stuff on it, so I, throw the black yucky bits away. And I eat this, I bite into this persimmon. And just show of hands, how many of you have had a delicious, how many of you have had a perfect persimmon that tastes like custard? And how many of you have had a persimmon that was not quite ripe and was just one of the worst tastes you've ever had? Right? It's like playing Russian roulette with a persimmon. If it's not good, it is awful. So I'm eating this persimmon, which is the best persimmon I've ever had in my life, and I realize I'm eating the persimmon, and I realize I'm in a good mood. And it was a good mood that I hadn't recognized myself in that. Like my resting rate was pretty good and pretty joyous. I had a little bit of a spring in my step. And I thought to myself, I'm going to remember this moment about the persimmon so that next time I'm in a foul mood, I can just mentally go persimmon, 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 and I'll bring myself into this mood that I'm in right now. And after having that thought, I remember I had a previous set of thoughts that went like this. When I'm in a good mood, I put down a breadcrumb trail from where I am to where I used to be, so that if I'm in a bad mood, I can follow the breadcrumb trail. And what I found out through living is that the breadcrumb trail, when I'm in a bad mood, I see the breadcrumb trail and I think to myself, who the fuck left this mess?
Yeah. Wasn't me, Mom.
That's the punchline to my little story. Okay, so remember I said I had a lot of things that I wanted to share? That one went a lot faster than I thought it was going to go. Let's talk a little bit about some things we talked about last week. Some topics that we talked about last week include, but are not limited to, and this is where you get to tell me. What's a thing that we talked about last week? Whether or not you have any new thoughts on it, give me a topic.
The McAfee Roy.
Last week we talked about the meaning of communication is in the response elicited regardless of intention. Thank you. We did talk about that. What else did we talk about? We touched on.
Shame.
We talked about shame. We talked a little bit about shame. And one thing I realized I did not say last week about shame. Shame has a half-life that's really, really long. Joy has a much shorter half-life. Shame's sticky. It's really sticky. It sticks to us. What else did we talk about a little bit last week? We talked about
Gratitude.
Spiritual barometer.
we talked about gratitude. that gratitude, and we talked about spiritual barometers. We talked about literal barometers as well. I have two other things on my list that we talked about. We talked about learning to react, learning to not react as much as we can respond. And the other one we talked about very little bit was envy. That when we see somebody doing something that we wish we could do, we have a choice of either trying to do what they're doing or knock them down from doing it. One of those being the preferred. Is there anything that in the last 160 some hours, is there something in the last 160 some hours about one of these topics that came to you? Oh, we also talked about, we did a little review of sour.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a thing about one of these topics that you would like to share that you thought about in the last week? The way that you applied one of the things that we learned? While you're thinking on that, I want to go over a few rules we also talked about last week. While we are doing this spiritual experiment, which is what we're doing, please be mindful not to share and to try to keep this in the confines of this Zoom room. I know it's broadcast. I know it's on YouTube. But still, if you are to quote something that happens in this service, with the exception of me, you can say, well, Rabbi Brian said, but not to use anyone else's name when you're talking about this, to try to keep it that we can feel comfortable sharing. We're trying for more emotional responses than intellectual responses. Sometimes we do need to throw in an intellectual correction to something, but really I'm looking more for how does this make you feel. I, not you. That little rule is that we should try to speak in I statements, not you must remember this and you must do that, but I remember this and I remember to do that. And unsolicited advice, be warned. So here, that one I want to talk a little bit about. Show of hands, I'm not judging you. Do you like my turtleneck and jacket?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You had the opportunity also to say no.
Yeah, but I like it.
Okay, I'm glad you like it. I authorized the group to give their opinion there. It's not unsolicited advice in that case. It's solicited, asking for. And somebody talked with me over the last week is that sometimes with siblings or really dear friends, you are somewhat authorized to give your opinion without having to ask for asked to be authorized. Sometimes with people we are near and dear to, we are able to give unsolicited advice, but there's a comfort level between us. Okay. Last chance on things that we talked about last week. Going back a week, we talked about this as well.
Great.
Somebody tell me what this one means.
Four affirmative comments to one negative comment.
Yeah, 4 affirmative or neutral comments to negative correcting comments, critiques. And that's because I can tie those two things together. That a neutral comment about somebody else is kind of positive because you're seeing them. Just by saying, oh, look, you're wearing a sweater today. It's not a positive comment, but it's a neutral comment. And because a neutral comment is seeing them, it counts as a positive comment. Okay.
Greg keeps trying to talk.
Go ahead. I can't hear what Carol. I know you just said something, and I don't know what.
I said Greg has been raising his hand.
Oh, go ahead, Greg. Thank you, Carol.
Um, I want to comment on the barometer.
Yeah, please.
Just, just like the weather barometer gives you an indication of all the effects that are going on. I find that our body is also a barometer as well as our spirit. When something isn't right between another person and myself, I just don't know it. I feel it. I have anxiety about it. It could be serious enough that I could be depressed. But the thing is that I found that looking at the barometer gives me an indication where I am at with my life at that particular moment.
Yeah.
It's been very helpful for me.
Right, to just know. If I know I'm in a shitty mood, it's a lot easier than if I don't know I'm in a shitty mood. I have not a plan, but I have things I can do if I realize I'm in a shitty mood. If I don't know I'm in a shitty mood, I'm not going to implement those plans. Thank you, Greg. I had another comment that goes... Okay. So, go ahead, Betsy.
I was thinking that it's also good sometimes to warn people around you that you're in a shitty mood.
Yeah. I'm not in a good place right now. Please be gentle with me. Just to tell people where you're at, which is, my crusade against the word fine. How are you fine? That doesn't tell me anything. I don't know how to interact with you based on that. How are you? Consternated. Ooh, big word. But at least I can react to it. There's something to do. Thank you, Betsy. Other comments? I'm going to bring up a thing. One of the goals... Here, I'll share my outline with you. One of the goals here is to be honest with where we are in real time. To be honest with ourselves, to be honest with other people with where we are. 2, caution, that may contain heat. If we're honest in real time, it might be not always sunshine and rainbows. It might be, hey, what you just said really pissed me off. That's being honest in real time, and it may contain heat. We may disagree with each other. I'm sure there are people on the screen with whom you've disagreed or that you're disagreeing with currently. It is not okay to throw away the whole relationship over not agreeing on one thing.
That's a good point.
I have seen this over and over again as somebody is slighted. Well, they didn't invite me to Thanksgiving 2 years ago, and I've not talked with them since. You're going to throw away a 10-year friendship because they didn't invite you to Thanksgiving?
Right.
We get a little bit, there was a little bit of heat last week
Can
here.
you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear you, Emily.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Uh-oh. Train of thought.
We had a little bit of heat last
Oh,
week.
thank you, Meg. We had a little bit of heat last week where one member tried to explain to another member what the other member was feeling. Somebody said, I feel this way, and then a correction came. No, you don't. You feel this way. And I did something that I wish I had mitigated against from the start, which is, I have a little note here, which is, hey, sometimes I, as the host of this meeting, might interrupt you. I might hurry you along. And this goes to this. It's going to sound obnoxious if I do it and I don't tell you about it, but if I have the ability to tell you ahead of time, you know what to expect. And we're much happier when we know what to expect. Okay. Leads me to a question. And Dan Cooperstock, you brought this question up in the past. So the person who corrected the other person, I interjected. And if you weren't here last week, I apologize. I hope that the summary brings so you're not totally lost. Somebody said how another member was feeling. I threw a flag on the play. I said, we can't do that. That's not a great thing to do. But I hadn't set that rule ahead of time. And the person who I shut off felt shame. And I can understand why they felt shame. And I emailed with them and I said, I will offer an apology next week. And they said, no, you don't need to offer an apology. And this is somewhat a corollary to what, Dan, your question was. If somebody asks you for an apology, but you don't think you did anything wrong, do you still owe them an apology? Somebody says, you really hurt my feelings, and this person might have said, Rabbi, you really hurt my feelings when you cut me off. And I could say, well, you weren't following the rules. Do I also offer an apology? Benefits, detriments to offering an apology. I'll take more than one word answers. Hands on buzzers. And go. Yeah, do we owe an apology if we don't think we did something wrong? If someone's asking us to apologize, Dan, who brought this topic to us, go ahead.
Well, the temptation is, to do that sort of apology that everyone says is a bad kind of apology, which is, I'm sorry you felt hurt by the thing I said, right? Which isn't, you're not really apologizing. You're acknowledging the hurt without taking responsibility. Probably because you don't actually feel like you had responsibility. It's their problem. But we're always told that's a bad kind of apology. So I'm not sure where to go with that.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sorry I was insensitive to your feelings.
Oh, I like that one, Betsy. So you would be willing, I'll get you in a second, John. Betsy, you would be willing to say that to someone even if you don't feel like you did much wrong. You'd say, Say how you said it again.
I'm sorry I was insensitive to how that might have made you feel.
Dan, does that pass the sniff test for you?
Only if I felt that I had actually been being insensitive.
Okay.
There is also, I am sorry that I did not set the rules and make them clear before we started.
I'm glad to take that on. I'll take that on. I will apologize that I last week didn't say that.
Reasonable thing.
Go ahead, John and Maria.
I will. Mine pertained to the rules as well, so that's fine.
Pass. Thank you, Maria.
I was thinking that, I don't think it costs me much to say sorry, but something even just, I hear that or sort of thing, just like recognizing them sort of thing. If
Seeing
that
them
would work. Seeing them.
So I cut you off and you say to me, or do I have it backwards? Can you spell out of the example? Because I got a little lost.
Yeah, okay. Now put me on the spot. If somebody says to me, you hurt my feelings sort of thing because you cut me off. If I respond to them, just even, I hear that.
I hear that, yeah.
I'm listening and I hear what you just said.
Yeah, I could do that. I hear what you're saying. I understand how you feel that way. I will tell you I'll put my cards on the table. I don't think there's anything wrong with apologizing, even if I don't fully feel like I was responsible to it. I hear what you're saying. I'm sorry that happened, and I'll apologize for my part in that. I don't think that doesn't feel incongruous with how I feel. Ron, Harold, or Connie? Oh, Ron, you are on mute.
Ron's on mute.
And I can thank you. Glad you are feeling better and not coughing as much as you used to.
Okay.
Still got you.
Yeah. I just don't want to leave out the passive aggressive. I'm sorry you make me so angry.
I think we agree that does not feel quite like an apology. Go ahead, Harold or Connie.
I think making an apology when you're not at fault is tacit agreement allowing them to do it again.
It's tacit agreement to. I missed some
allow
words.
them
to allow them to do it again.
Yeah. If you interrupted and you said, "Gee, I'm sorry I interrupted you," then that person thinks, "Oh, I can do that again," because he apologized to me.
Okay.
But I broke the rules, but it's tacit agreement to do it again. And that's what bugs me about apologies is
I think that's what Dan was getting.
Apologize.
Yeah.
You admit you made an error of some kind, and things got to change. So if you apologize for somebody breaking the rules, then you're sorry you even made the rule in the first place.
I can take my part of it. I'm sorry that I was not clear enough in the rules. I'm sorry I didn't present the rules in the way that reflected what I'm sorry that I wasn't able to transmit the rule in a way that you could understand what I was saying.
Then you have to follow that with a comment, the rules are the rules. You can apologize.
I'm not really sure what that's adding.
The rules are rules, and you don't allow exceptions. The rules aren't rules.
I'm all for firm, but I'm also going to stay a little flexible.
Well,
it's all good. We don't have to agree on everything, Harold.
You're right.
Go ahead, John, and then Michael.
For Meg especially, this has a political element, but it's not about politics, okay? The President of the United States indicated he was greatly insulted by an ad that came from Canada. And that went over around and around. And then this morning in The Guardian, I read the headline, Carney, our prime minister, apologizes to Trump. That just totally annoyed me. I was so pissed off when I read that, read the headline. Okay. And then when I looked on a CBC source, it said, Trump says Carney apologizes. That completely changes the picture for me.
Interesting.
But initially, the fact that he would apologize annoyed the hell out of me.
Yeah. I could see that. Go ahead, Michael.
This is a conversation about hurt feelings and being ghosted or
yeah.
And that's hits home, and it especially now, but just in everyday interactions with people you think things are going smooth with, you find out they're not. It goes to a core idea of ultimate reality. Either we're all connected and we can always work things out because we're all connected, we have to, otherwise we both suffer, or in fact we're not. The world is just a divided world. The divided world idea really what's at the core of the problem. And some people think we're all connected, and some people think we're not.
Yeah.
And they have very strong feelings about it. So, what do you do? If that happens in a local relationship, then I guess the only thing you can do is let it be. Let the other person be. I don't know what other option there is if your intentionality.
Do you forgive?
In a relationship if you've hurt someone unintentionally, and like we say, we have no
Right.
concept of how this is. The only option you have is to go deeper in yourself to find out, how am I fucking up? What am I doing? You know.
And you're willing to do that?
Well, I have been willing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am willing.
And how's it working out?
It's a long slog, you know.
Yeah.
But it's brought to my consciousness the belief, you know, it's almost a spiritual, you know, theological idea that, are we connected? If we're really connected, if you believe that, and if that's even scientifically true, then then you're a little freer to move on and, you know, approach the other.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
I gotcha. Thank you, Michael. I got people double dipping in, but we'll take it. Dan, then Jack, and then George.
Just quickly, I'm not convinced that the problem last week was you stopping someone when they hadn't been warned that week that you might do that, so much as that they didn't like the content. It wasn't about
Correct.
whether there was a
And Dan, I think you and I just are going to fall on opposite ends of this. I'm fine with, I will eat my hat. I don't know if that's the right phrase, but I will apologize for any sliver of it that I can. To me, it doesn't cost. I'm not losing my integrity for apologizing for the pieces that I can. I won't apologize for something I didn't do. But I do. I think this is where I fall right now.
Yeah, I was only speaking as a clarification.
Thank you, Dan.
You know, not as a disagreement necessarily. Yeah.
I'd like to apologize for any disagreement that we had. Jack, and then George, and then Ruth.
You're muted, Jack.
Yeah, I got it. It's a question with me on trying to be sincere, but if I end up being repetitive, I lose my sincerity.
Oh, that's interesting.
I have to be consciously aware of, when I screw up, how to handle that with somebody else, and not be just repetitive in that motion.
Thank you. Thank you. George. Thank you, Jack.
If you reflexively apologize to somebody without understanding why they were offended, you've earned the right to an explanation. So you should immediately follow up that apology with a question of why were you offended by what I said or did? That's really critically important so that you can avoid doing it again.
I agree. I would like to not offend people as best I can.
The point is, it's okay to automatically apologize even if you don't think you did anything wrong, but you're obligated to figure out why.
If that will help fix things, sure. Ruth, go ahead.
I'm on your side of this fence, Rabbi. There's a concept called shalom bayis in Judaism, peace at home. And sometimes it's just better to apologize to be able to maintain that.
Yeah. There's one of my favorite quotes, Ruth, that yesterday I bent the truth to be kind, and I have no regrets, for I am far more certain as to what is kind than what is true. It's a Robert Brault quote.
Like that.
Yeah. And Dan, I'm with you. I need to be completely intellectually honest with myself. I can't my whole brand falls apart if I'm being disingenuous. I don't sleep well if I'm being disingenuous. I have to be. I think we just fall on different sides of this one. And look, we can still be friends. I want to tell you a story about Wednesday night. Wednesday night, I was in Los Angeles. I did a book talk at Temple Beth Am, and I'm going to put this up on the screen. So you can know. I was expecting, when I got in touch with this synagogue, and they were in touch with me about me doing a book talk, I was expecting that when I got there, there would be some signage to the room where I was speaking. First expectation, not there. I also expected that the setup would be, as we had discussed prior to my showing up, like there would be a lectern and 2 microphones, as I was told. They asked me what I needed. I think you know what happened to both of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Further, I expected that there were seats set up for about 40 people, and there were about 25 people there. Granted, the Dodgers were playing in the World Series. I expected that of the 25 people who were there, that they wouldn't all be people who I brought to the venue, or my mother, who was in town, brought to the venue. The total sum number of people, if you include the people I brought and my mom brought, was 25. If you include the number of people that the synagogue brought, it's still 25. I had a hard time.
I can believe that.
I knew at the time I didn't want to be upset. And I wanted to just enjoy the book reading as best I could. I wanted to just enjoy it, but I couldn't. I had this stone, this rock, this thing keeping me from enjoying. And my question is, was it just my expectation? If I didn't have expectations, would I have been better off?
Yeah.
No.
I think so.
No.
I think they owe you an apology.
That's for sure.
You flew to go to that meeting, and they did not do the things they said they were going to do. And I think you have every right to want an apology from the synagogue, saying, I took my time. My time is valuable too. I am very glad to present this message to everyone. That's why I wrote a book.
Right.
But you didn't do the 1 or 2 things that I asked you to do.
I did write them, Carol. I did write a text message to the rabbi who brought me in. And I said, could you please explain to me what went wrong? I would feel a lot better to know, why was my event never put on the temple calendar? Why did right?
It wasn't it because I had friends that said they were going to go.
Apparently it was mentioned in 2 emails is what I heard back.
Oh, it was a Dodger game.
Oh, there was a Dodger game. I get that. Yeah.
There's always something going on. If you make a commitment to have someone go to your synagogue where you're in charge, you are in charge to make sure that they didn't travel for nothing.
Right. So it wasn't for nothing. I had a good time with the 25 people who were there. I just had wished it was other than that. So let me ask the following question for which I would like answers. What do I do with my feelings? What do I do with my feelings of hurt and upset?
No caller.
Al, I don't know if that's the question you were planning on answering, but I'll take you have your hand up. And then I got people double dipping, so I'd love to prioritize people who haven't spoken yet. What do I do? And here I'm soliciting advice, so it's not unsolicited advice. What do I do? Or if you have a story about a time where you had a similar circumstance, what did you do to deal with the pissed offness? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of feeling those feelings, of saying to myself, hey, there's some message here that my body and my mind and my being is giving to me. And I think erasing the expectations ahead of time, I don't know, that just feels like judgment on top of judgment. Feels like self-shaming to me.
That's fair.
But recognizing that I had expectations feels healthy. And recognizing that they weren't met feels healthy. And recognizing that the two things together hurt feels healthy. And seeing where do I want to go with this? What's my next right step, given that I feel hurt?
Well, it's grieving.
There's a little bit of grief in it, absolutely. A little bit of, and I think were I to look, my childhood strategy was to paint a smiley rainbow on top of everything and say, "Oh, well, it works out for the best. It's all good." But I think the more honest I am, Al, it's closer to where you are, which is to feel the upset and own the upset.
Yeah.
Because trying to write it off, it doesn't work. Go ahead. And I have some spam reported on Twitch. I don't know what that means whatsoever. But I know to look at Chad and Lisa, who just posted that there's spam reported on Twitch. I don't know what that means. In the meanwhile, Ron?
So I have just experienced a similar thing in that I'm leading a conflict de-escalation training on November 15th. And I was corresponding with the hearth keeper at the Quaker Meeting House, and she forgot to put it in the bulletin and the newsletter. And I was feeling a little hurt.
Yeah, of course.
Then she apologized to me via email shortly thereafter when she realized that she hadn't put it in because I hadn't put announcement on the subject line. And so she skipped my email. And, oh, okay, I can forgive that. And then I think, so much of the training is based on role play. This will give us more room for the role play in the meeting room. And so it's okay.
Okay.
And that's how I dealt with it this time.
You polished a turd.
I polished the turd and it's nice and shiny.
Well
No,
done.
Rabbi, did you get an apology?
That's funny you should ask that. I got a very long, heartfelt response explaining what had happened. I don't remember if the words "I'm sorry" are there, but there's another Robert Brault quote that says, "Life becomes immeasurably easier when we learn to accept the apology of the person who never gave it." So whether or not they wrote it as an apology, I'm taking their very long text message as an apology. Go ahead, Jack.
Well, I learned at a very early age not to rely too much on somebody else.
Sorry, not to rely on.
Not to rely on people, to keep that reliance at a minimum.
Okay. Not to expect a lot from people.
Right, and that's carried me through my whole life. If I needed to do something, I just did it myself. And if I couldn't do it myself, that's when I relied on someone.
Okay.
To help me do it. Yeah, it works.
Do what works. Do what works. Yep. Chad and Lisa, go ahead.
What about the 5x5 rule? If it's not going to matter in 5 years, don't spend worrying about it.
If it's not going to matter in 5 years, don't spend 5 minutes worrying about it.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the rule. I feel like it might leave me feeling a little short that I'm feeling hurt, and if I apply that rubric, it's going to minimize my feelings of hurt and saying, get over it. It's not going to matter in 5 years, but I'm 10 years old and I have just stubbed my toe. I don't want someone to say it's not going to hurt in 5 minutes. Right now I need, right now I just need love. And while we have you on the phone, Chad and Lisa, what happened on Twitch? Is there anything that's panicky?
Oh, it's just
It happens.
spam. It happens all the time on Twitch. I don't have any jurisdiction to hit a button to remove it for you, but I did report. I did report the person who was spamming your page. Just letting you know that the above chat there was some spam. That's basically what I'm doing.
Okay. Anything I need to do besides harbor resentment?
Unless you want to hit the 3 little buttons next to that person's post and remove it.
I can do that later.
Yeah, it'll be gone later, so don't even worry about it.
Thank you. Thank you for being technological savvy. Michael, and then Ellen and Andy.
This is just like I don't know if it's connected to, I was mindful that you were speaking at a conservative synagogue for some reason, and you're bringing a totally opposite message. So this sounds like a little passive aggression. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, so
I think
Michael,
there's
you
something
make
much deeper here of the significance of
So-
how you present yourself to a discognitive institution.
Yeah, Michael, you are absolutely right. That did not that did not go past me. My message.
Because I think otherwise you could have been quite a draw.
Yeah, I don't think it's one thing that I'm considering is that Jews are very allergic to Christianity. Some Jews are very allergic to anything that smells too Christian. And
very,
one of the questions I received before the talk was, which gospel are you going to be reading from exactly?
Yeah, just the word gospel. Just the word gospel. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
check out.
I've gotten so acculturated to Christian life and using Christian words that to me, I forgot that the word gospel was toxic.
I think that you need to figure a different way to get your message across.
I got time.
You got time. We'll help you. We'll help you do it.
I got time.
It certainly gets the attention of we Christians.
Yeah.
Just say Godspell.
Rebecca's hand is up too, Brian.
Yeah, let's do Andy and Ellen, then Rebecca. Thank you for calling that out, Dan.
I have a couple reactions to the story that you told. One is reflecting on something a therapist told me many years ago about myself that may have relevance to you, which was, Andy, you need to learn how to deal with disappointment better. And she was right about me. That was one thought that I had. A couple others are, it seems like there are professional and political, so to speak, implications of what you do with this. And you don't want to burn a bridge with them.
Right.
And the other thought is, in my life, I'm a little better at this now than I used to be, but I never hesitated to try to tell people how they affected me and how I thought they could be better with me.
Mm-hmm.
It never worked out very well. And when they did things that I thought or hoped or wished they would have done differently with me, my reaction was always, well, was it sincere or were they just doing it because I told them it meant a lot to me? So I've worked on trying to do less of that. My last thought was, I remember working with an Orthodox rabbi who told me that the most difficult thing in his life was dealing with Jews who were so hard to deal with.
Yeah.
They argued about everything, and they were always right.
I'll tell you a quick story, and then we'll go to Rebecca. I was at a Oregon Board of Rabbis meeting, and arguing. This was before COVID, so we're all there in person, and we're arguing about, God knows what we were arguing about. And I say to the group, I say, guys, I think we could all agree that we're not all going to ever agree on anything. And one of my colleagues, I shit you not, said, I don't think that's true. No. Thank you for disagreeing and agreeing with me at the same time. That was beautiful. Go ahead, Rebecca.
Thank you. Thank you. I love all the comments so far, and I really agree about taking time to self-reflect and to feel the feelings. But then this next step of, do I want to carry this on in my mind?
Right.
Over and over and over. And I guess the question becomes, does it bring me joy? Or is something else going on? And maybe we want to feel like a victim, but I at that point go to my Buddhist side and remember that all suffering comes from either attachment or aversion.
Correct.
And I ask myself, am I attached to that comment, or am I willing to let it go? Because I don't want to suffer. And
I agree. I agree with you. If I could just choose, like, hey, I got a choice between suffering from this problem or not suffering from this problem, I'm pretty sure which route I'm going to take every single time. What I wish I had done, and I didn't realize it. This is level 4.3 for those of you who are. It's where you know what you know how to coach yourself, but the frickin' moment has already passed. What I wish I had done was I wish I had gone to the restroom and just kicked the wall in the bathroom stall a few times. Go, I'm fucking upset, I'm fucking upset, I'm fucking upset. So I could have at least acknowledged the anger and let it out. And instead, I just...
We're stuck.
I stuck to myself with it.
Yeah, they were stuck. Yeah.
Go ahead, Anne. And then Carol.
My experience might be more apropos to the experience of other people who have been viewed as a minority group and treated as such. And that could be women in a men's field. It could be a person of color, or it could be a person with a disability like me. It's September of my senior year in high school, and my parents are taking me to this college, that university, this one, that one, this one, that one. And I realize after a while that there are two kinds of higher education institutions. One kind literally laughs me out of the office.
Oh.
Literally. Hey, Joe, come on over here. Look at this. She wants to be a chemistry major. Ha, ha, ha. There are other kinds that say, oh, you have a really good record. Hey, you might really like it here. Hey, we're interested in you. Absolute opposite extremes. Mm-hmm. And what I learned from that is, okay, Anne, this is what you're going to face in your life. Mm-hmm. There's going to be two kinds of people, two kinds of institutions, two kinds of job interviews, and just realize here's the two different kinds. Mm-hmm. And get to become very efficient at smelling which kind it is.
Yeah.
And I think any women in a man's field who's hearing this, any person of color in a white majority institution knows what I'm talking about. I mean,
got it. Or liberal rabbi going to a conservative synagogue.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Carol. Thank you, Anne.
With the gospel.
did not go on book tours.
Wait. Hold on. Say it again, Carol.
I simply did not go on book tours ever.
Well, that will keep
And
the
I've had
problems
9
from
books come
arising.
out. But I just decided I don't need that. I go alone to write my books with my door closed and focus. What makes me think that I'm someone who should go out there to people who didn't want to learn? I love to teach, and make my classes available to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very different thing than having people come because people expect you to come.
Okay. Go ahead, Sherry. No, sorry, you came up. We're going to take a moment. If one of my beloved helpers can help make sure that in the chat is a list to the contact page. If you're not already in the Religion Outside the Box contact sheet and you want to contact people, please do. And those of you who are already on that contact sheet, I got a message through a third party from Aaron, who said, Aaron, Aaron, who you might remember from services.
Oh, yeah.
He said, I'm having a hard time. I sure would love if people could reach out.
Wow.
So if you have it in you, to please send a text or something or an email to Aaron.
Got it.
And I have another announcement to make. This one's fairly important. It's okay to not be okay. Folks, this is a hard world sometimes. And sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down, and it is okay to not be okay. We're allowed. Other announcements? I don't have other announcements. Are there other announcements? Oh, I do have another announcement. Because I want us all to think on this. This one here. We talked about this 2 weeks ago or so. There's nothing harshness does that loving firmness doesn't do better. We chatted a little bit before the service about forgiving our enemies. There's nothing harshness does that loving firmness doesn't do better. And I've been thinking about it, and I thought, well, last time we spoke about it, that harshness does give us a feeling of moral superiority. But here's what I realized. Loving firmness can give us a sense of moral superiority too. Look at me. I'm being loving and firm and not harsh.
One is deserved and one is not, however.
Oh, George, I hate to preach to a Christian about grace.
Harshness is not, you don't deserve.
Nobody deserves harshness.
No.
Right?
Especially yourself.
And especially towards ourselves. Yeah. Maria, you have a list of names, and if I can remind people that the rules are, we're trying to say prayers for individuals who are connected to this community. And sometimes people put Maria in an awkward spot by asking her to add in other than that. Thank you, Maria.
These are the individuals for this week. Alex, John, and Rebecca, Cullen and the kids, Gwen and Reed, Irma P. and family, Tommy R., Jen H., Michael H., Kelly and her daughter, Rita S., Sheridan H., Aru Lane Hill, Ebony, Beth Carney, Joe Ludwig, Lauren Lee, Leo Applebaum, Phil, Linda, Cleo, and Hillary, Linda, Terry, Sharon, and Jeff, John W. and Rose M., Sally and Bob B., Portia and Dennis, and Aaron. If there is another person in our community to whom we can offer light and love, please put their name in the chat and I will add them to the list on Facebook. And for the people who aren't named but who are in our thoughts, we send them light and love as well.
Thank you, Maria. We'll take 1 minute right now. Thank you all. I'm going to give us a homework assignment. Folks, you are not obligated to do any of this, but I'd love to see it if you try. I'd like you to get an index card or some kind of piece of paper out. You don't have to do that at this moment. And divide it into 7 sections. And every time you cross the lintel of your home, every time you go out, I want you to do a moment of sobriety or a moment of grace. And I want you to take a pause before you step outside and see, am I rushing? Can I slow down? Am I carrying burdens I don't need to carry? And if so, let me leave them here. And the goal is that once a day, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that you get 5 check marks over the course of a week. We'll see how that goes. So I'm going to say this thing that I am saying mockingly, which is, so does that make sense? To which the people all reply,
yeah, sure.
Which, as the educator in me, goes crazy, because just getting people to say, does that make sense? And everyone knows it's just a call and response. I say, does that make sense? Everyone says, yes, yes, of course. But it doesn't mean that anyone understands what I'm talking about. It just means that you know how to say, yes, that makes sense, even if it doesn't. So I would love to hear, can somebody, and I'll bribe you if I must, can somebody explain what the rules of the game are on our 7-column checkbox?
When we leave the house, we need to stop and breathe and see if we're really rushing or if we can go slower.
And if you do,
I can put a check mark.
and the goal, someone besides Meg, the goal at the end of 168 hours from now is to have how many check marks?
5.
Just 5. Every time you go
you
in.
said 5.
5.
That's what you said.
Okay. If you want to do fewer.
I mean, it would be like 7, actually.
Well, you get it every time you go in and out of the house. So you have at least, if you go in and out once a day, you have 14 tries.
I have a dog, so I go out at least 4 times.
This is very strange.
Very good. Let me put everybody on the screen and say thank you. Folks, take a moment to look at the people on the screen and realize that none of us are, even if we feel alone, we're not alone. We got people, and that's a beautiful thing. I'm going to see you next week. If you'd all wave, blow a kiss, let's say goodbye to the people on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch.